In the heart of a sprawling ancient forest, a lone figure moves with the silence of a shadow. This is John, a former Marine, a man who knows the wilderness better than the back of his own hand. He wasn't supposed to be here. A hiking trip gone wrong, a compass shattered, and now he's lost, miles from civilization. But being lost is the least of his worries. He's being hunted. A notorious crime family, the Falcones, believe John witnessed something he shouldn't have in a quiet town on the edge of this very forest. They've sent a team of their best enforcers, ruthless men armed to the teeth, to ensure his permanent silence. Leading the hunt is Marco, a cold, calculating killer who sees this as just another Tuesday. He and his men, accustomed to the concrete jungle of the city, see the forest as a minor inconvenience. They have numbers, they have weapons, and they have a helicopter circling overhead. They think it's a simple search-and-destroy mission. They couldn't be more wrong. They don't know who John is. They don't know what he's capable of. They see a lost hiker. They don't see the master survivalist, the expert in guerrilla warfare, the artist whose canvas is the earth itself, and whose paints are sticks, stones, and vines. As the sun begins to dip below the horizon, casting long, eerie shadows through the trees, the forest transforms. For Marco's men, it becomes a labyrinth of fear and confusion. For John, it becomes his fortress. He hears their clumsy footsteps from a mile away, smells their cheap cologne on the wind. He watches from the high branches as they blunder through his territory, their arrogance, their greatest weakness. The hunt is on, but the roles of hunter and prey are about to be dramatically reversed. The first trap is simple, almost poetic. A tripwire made from a nearly invisible vine, connected to a heavy log suspended precariously between two trees. One of Marco's men, swaggering with overconfidence, trips the wire. A split second of surprise flashes across his face before the log swings down with bone-crushing force. The sickening thud echoes through the woods, a chilling announcement that the game has changed. Panic begins to ripple through the group. This isn't a lost hiker. This is something else entirely. Marco tries to regain control, barking orders, his voice tight with a mixture of anger and a dawning sense of dread. They spread out, moving more cautiously now, their eyes darting into the deepening gloom. But they're looking for a man, and John is no longer just a man. He is the rustle of leaves, the snap of a twig, the whisper of the wind. He's everywhere and nowhere. Another enforcer, trying to get a better vantage point, steps into a patch of seemingly solid ground. It gives way instantly, revealing a deep pit lined with sharpened stakes. His scream is cut short as he disappears into the darkness below. Now real fear takes hold. The hunters are becoming the hunted. Their superior firepower means nothing if they can't find their target. The forest, which they had dismissed, is now their enemy, an extension of John's will. Every shadow seems to hold a threat, every sound sends a jolt of adrenaline through their veins. John, meanwhile, works with a calm, deadly efficiency. He uses the terrain to his advantage, crafting one ingenious trap after another. A concealed snare yanks a man into the air, leaving him dangling helplessly from a branch. A spring-loaded branch, sharpened to a spear-like point, whips across a narrow path, taking another hunter by surprise. Marco is losing his men and his mind. He fires his gun wildly into the trees, his shouts of frustration and rage swallowed by the immense silence of the woods. He can feel a presence watching him, a pair of eyes tracking his every move. The psychological toll is immense. The men are turning on each other, paranoia spreading like a virus. They came here to kill one man, but they've walked into a nightmare of their own making. John isn't just trying to survive. He's dismantling them, piece by piece, both physically and mentally. As the night wears on, the forest becomes a graveyard for the Falcone family's ambitions. The helicopter overhead is useless, its searchlights unable to penetrate the thick canopy. Down below, John continues his silent, deadly work. He's a ghost, a legend being born in the darkness of the woods. He uses their own tactics against them, creating diversions, leading them into ambush, and turning their strength into a fatal flaw. He remembers his training, the brutal lessons learned in far-off jungles, and applies them with chilling precision. By the time the first rays of dawn pierce the tree line, only a handful of Marco's men are left. They are broken, terrified, and utterly defeated. Marco, his face pale and his hands shaking, finally understands the magnitude of his mistake. He's not hunting a man. He's trespassed into the domain of a predator far more dangerous than anyone in his crime family could ever imagine. He sees a flicker of movement in the undergrowth. This time it's not a trap. It's John, emerging from the shadows, his eyes as hard and unyielding as the ancient stones around them. He holds no weapon, save for the knowledge in his head and the strength in his hands. The final confrontation is swift and brutal. It's not a firefight, it's a reckoning. John moves with a speed and ferocity that Marco can't comprehend. The city-bred killer is no match for the force of nature that John has become. In the end, Marco is left disarmed and defeated, at the mercy of the man he was sent to eliminate. John looks down at him, not with hatred, but with a cold, weary finality. He didn't ask for this fight, but he was more than prepared to finish it. As the sun rises fully, bathing the forest in golden light, John walks away, leaving the remnants of the Falcone hit squad scattered through his domain. He melts back into the wilderness, finally able to find his way home. The legend of the forest ghost would be whispered in hushed tones in the criminal underworld for years to come, a cautionary tale about underestimating a man who is one with the wild. They came to bury him in the woods, but instead, they found their own graves, dug by the very man they sought to destroy. The forest keeps its secrets, and John is now its most dangerous one. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more incredible stories.